back to another episode in the HC Virtual Kitchen, and today I want to talk about how to layer, fill, and stack a cake. Now, it seems a little more complicated than it actually is, and I wanted to take an opportunity to show you while I was making a birthday cake for my dad. Now, he loves chocolate chip cookie dough, so we've made a chocolate chip cake with a chocolate chip cookie dough buttercream and a Swiss meringue buttercream. And I'm gonna show you how to layer all of that together to make a really scrumptious looking cake. So let's get started. First, we'll start off by prepping our cakes. Leveling your cake layers is important, so you can either use a serrated knife, or I really love this cake leveling tool. The reason it's so important is we want our cakes to stack flat, and we don't want our cake to fall over. So we'll cut off any excess, which obviously you can eat or turn into cake pops. I'm going to split these layers down in half so we have a nice big 6-layer cake. Now we'll get to stacking, filling, and frosting. You'll want to assemble your cake on a flat surface. I like to use these disposable cake drums and also use a turntable. This allows me to decorate the cake and frost it easily. You'll also need a spatula, and we'll start off by putting a little bit of the frosting down onto the cake board and placing our first layer down so it has something to stick to. I like to give it a little press onto the board to make sure it sticks and make sure that I've got it centered. You'll want to start off by putting down some frosting. I like to use a piping bag because it allows me to control the amount of frosting that I use, and I minimize the amount of crumbs that I pull up from the cake layer when I go to spread the frosting. We'll take your spatula and bring it into about a 30 or 45 degree angle. So start upright and turn your wrist, and use the turntable to your advantage. Keep your spatula in one spot and use the turntable to spin the cake layer around, and before you know it, you've got an even flat surface. You can then place your next layer of cake on. Make sure it's centered, and we'll do our next layer of frosting, which in this instance is the chocolate chip cookie dough frosting. Again, I used a piping bag so that I could smooth it on there without pulling up too many cake crumbs. Turn your spatula in to a 45 degree angle, hold it in one spot, and use the turntable to smooth out your frosting. Any excess can go back in the bowl. And we'll keep repeating these layers until we've used all of our cake layers, which in my instance is 6 layers. You'll always want to end with the bottom on the top so that you have a completely flat surface. And again, I'm going to use my piping bag to pipe frosting on the outside of the cake. You may have heard the term crumb coat. So this coat can be a little messy. You can get a little crumbs in it. It will be just fine. And I use a bench scraper to smooth the sides down, and it allows me to get a nice 90 degree angle on my edges. Use extra frosting to fill any gaps you might have. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because you can do a second coat of frosting to have a more finished looking cake. Once you've got your sides cleaned up, I will then smooth out the top. And there's usually edges, so I'll take my bench scraper and pull them in towards the center of the cake. And that's what gives you a nice sharp edge around your cake. We'll then pop this in the fridge to firm up, and then you can do a second coat. Now for my favorite part, the decoration. I want people to know what kind of cake this is just by looking at it. So we're going to use a chocolate ganache drip around the edges, which is just chocolate chips and heavy cream melted together. Let it cool down just a little bit before you put it on your cake. And I like to use a squeeze bottle because it allows me to control the drips and make it look really fancy. I'll use the excess ganache on the top and use my spatula again to spread it out. And just to make it look a little extra fancy, I'll put the tip of my spatula down on the edge of the cake, swirl it, and slowly bring it into the center. Then I'll use the same Swiss meringue buttercream to pipe dollops on the cake. We'll add a little more here because who doesn't like more frosting? And then we'll put yummy chocolate chip cookies into the dollops so that people know it's a chocolate chip cake. And there you have it. So guys, with just a couple of tools like a spatula, a piping bag, and a bench scraper, leveling and layering a cake can be really simple and you'll have a beautiful cake at the end. So until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!
Hi, I'm Haley's dad. Been watching all these cool videos she's been doing, and quite frankly, I never get to taste anything because my wonderful son-in-law gets to eat all the goodies. So today, my turn. My birthday cake. I'm 29 years old and I've got nobody else to judge me. Well, maybe I'm not 29. 9 layers, here we go. And I can do it without any water.